Hi guys, it's James, JT at the movies today, and I'm back with a really long overdue video. Back in July, I promised you guys that I was going to start reviewing the James Bond movies up to the release of No Time to Die coming out. Well, it should have been coming out actually next Friday, but obviously the pandemic, bless it, has got in the way again, and it's been pushed back to next April now, April 2021. And I've had a really hectic summer with one thing and another, and I didn't get around to shooting these reviews like I would have liked to have done. I've watched quite a lot of the Bond films, but I really need to get these done. I really want to do that for you. So let's jump in. We're going to talk today about the first film, the film that kicked it all off, 1962's Dr. No. So, in 1962, United Artists released Dr. No, their first adaptation of Ian Fleming's James Bond onto the silver screen, starring Sean Connery, Ursula Andress, Jack Lord and Joseph Wiseman as the titular villain. In this particular story, we find Bond sent to Jamaica to go and investigate the disappearance and ultimately the death of his colleague John Strangways, who disappeared after not reporting in to give an update over the radio. When Bond arrives in Jamaica, he finds that a mysterious character, Dr. No, has been investigated by Strangways and the island that Dr. No owns, Crab Key, as well. Bond obviously becomes intrigued by Crab Key and the mysterious Dr. No, and why all of a sudden his presence in Jamaica has brought out a whole host of assassins trying to take him off, from the Three Blind Mice to the secretary at Government House, to even the evil Mr. Dent himself, Professor Dent, should I say. That's a Smith & Wesson, and he's had his six. Bond teams up with Quarrel, a local agent, and Felix Leiter of the CIA, played by Jack Lord, and together they start investigating Dr. No and Crab Key. It's there that they uncover the plot by Dr. No to send off radio jamming signals, to send off American rocket launchers and missiles with the goal of inciting another war. Bond decides that it's time to go and investigate Crab Key personally and try and see what's going on Dr. No's island. So he and Quarrel row to the island. It's there that we meet the film's leading lady, Honey Rider, played by Ursula Andress. The scene of her coming out of the water, of course, is that of legend, and she's a really capable actress as well and holds her own against Connery in this adventure. Quarrel, unfortunately, is killed, and the other two, Bond and Ryder, are captured by Dr. No's men. They're put in a hotel suite at first and treated like distinguished guests until Dr. No introduces himself and asks Bond to join up with Spectre, the evil organisation that Dr. No works for. Bond, of course, declines in only a way that Bond can, at which point Dr. No says, "Well, you're just a stupid policeman," and locks Bond up. Bond escapes from his holding, rescues Honey, and defeats Dr. No by dropping him into a reactor in the lab where he's sending off the radio jamming signals to obviously stop the rockets and the missiles. With Dr. No perished, the island falls into chaos. The whole complex blows up on the back of the confrontation between Bond and Dr. No. Bond and Ryder escape in a boat, and they're rescued by the CIA and Felix Leiter at the end, and that is the end of the film. It's a really, really simple adventure story, is this. Bond goes to a new location, meets up with some allies, investigates a bad guy, meets a beautiful lady along the way, saves the beautiful lady, defeats the bad guy, and all's well that ends well. And I know that they wanted to adapt Thunderball first, but I think ultimately that's why when they couldn't do Thunderball, they revised it and went for this one. Because it's a relatively simple story that they can adapt reasonably well. They only had a very, very small budget of $1 million back in 1961 when they were filming this. And, they used that really, really well. Like the Sunbeam Alpine, the Bond car for this, was actually borrowed off a local for the scenes that it was needed. And that's why it's not, sort of used exhaustively. And there's a lot of back projection and really clever camera tricks and things like that. Connery is just so cool in this film. He really is bringing 110% to it, as absolutely you would in your first film where you're trying to make a great impression. The scene where he's James Bond, across the gambling table to Sylvia Trench, he's obviously that of cinematic legend. But just how cool he is and how sort of cold he can be as the secret agent, and as M would go on to say in Casino Royale, the blunt instrument. I've quoted it already, but that's Smith & Wesson, and you've had your six, and then he kills Professor Dent. And yeah, again, another interaction with Professor Dent where he's given him the like the fool's gold, the iron pyrite sample, and he takes it back and he goes, "Oh, Professor, allow me," and it's just the way that he is. But then he can handle himself in a fight. Obviously he gets into a fight with with Pussfella and Quarrel before they realise that they're fighting for the same team. But yeah, I can't rave about this film enough. It's an absolutely fantastic first entry to the series, and I don't think they could have picked a better film to launch it all. Connery is absolutely fantastic in the role and feels really relaxed in it to me. Feels like he's already been doing it for 2 or 3 films already. The supporting cast are absolutely fantastic. Jack Lord is brilliant as Felix Leiter. Ursula Andress, as I've said, is fantastic. Dr. No himself, Joseph Wiseman, absolutely brilliant. A whole host of other characters. We've got M, we've got Moneypenny, we've got Quarrel. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Compared to the rest of the film series, how does it hold up? Well, of course, the films have become bigger and better, and then sometimes taking a step back as well. And we'll talk about that when we get into the next the next reviews. On the whole, I think this is a really great film. It sets the standard and the tone for things to come, and holds up really, really well. I absolutely love this film, and it's one that I find myself coming back to quite regularly. Especially when I'm in a bit of a Connery mood. A double bill of this and From Russia with Love is often something that happens. And obviously, I think that there have been bigger and better films to come after this one, but it's an absolutely brilliant jumping off point. And I would like to rate this film 6.5 out of 10. If you've liked this video and you like videos talking about the James Bond movies, collecting and enjoying physical media, film reviews in general, top 10 lists, that sort of thing, then consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so that you're made aware whenever I post a video. And folks, if you just continue to take care of yourselves, continue to stay safe in this really trying time, I look forward to seeing you next time with my review of From Russia with Love.